Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Nancy Jamison.
And I'm Bill Jamison.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here.
What's up, baby?
Hey, baby.
What's going on with you
Hi,
today?
hi. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm doing great.
Thank you.
We just did this really cool thing.
What?
You and I? You don't know what we just did?
I know what we just did.
You sure? Because you said what?
We could be a couple of different things. What are we talking about?
Okay, cool. So we just did this thing. It's called Wim Hofing.
Yes.
And so Wim
That's
Hofing.
what I thought you were talking about.
I know. We're always on the same page. So Wim Hofing is an exercise, a breathing exercise where you, and look it up, Wim Hof is the gentleman's name that created this breathing technique, where you inhale and exhale many times before you actually exhale all your air, hold it, and then inhale all your air and hold it. Mm-hmm. That's easy for me to say. Mm-hmm. And it is energizing. And it warms you up, and I just appreciate us going through that exercise and making that deposit into ourselves before we decide to open this mic up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. That might be magic too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's definitely something that we do either before prospecting or before running or before doing other things as well, because of the oxygenation that happens and the revitalization and just of energy. So we need a little pick me up, and that's one of the ways that we utilize the energy and the habits depositing into us in lieu of caffeine at 4:00 in the afternoon, or Red Bull, or there's numerous different ways to keep things going. Yet we decided to pause Wim Hof, and here we are.
Feeling
awesome.
So sparkly, fresh and clean. Okay, cool.
Very
awesome.
Cool.
Well, before we get started today, in case with all this banter going on and you don't know who we are,
yes,
I'm Bill Jamison.
I'm Bill Jamison.
I'm Nancy Jamison.
And this is the Sex, Money, Real Estate Podcast. Absolutely. So we appreciate you being here. This is definitely the show that gives realtors permission to believe the successful balance of their intimate relationship and business is not only possible.
It's the J.A.M, baby.
It's the J.A.M, yes. And of course, that relationship starts with you, for sure. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, please. Leave us a 5-star review. If only we could get our sons to do that, too.
Oh, leave a 5-star review.
Yeah.
I know.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Maybe we can make that a goal for them this week. We can goal them.
Goal. I love that. I think that term should be everywhere, and we should patent that or trademark it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Goal. Oh, that's awesome. And, leave us the 5-star review and refer us to another agent, a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or any person or couple that are in the business that would love to hear about this podcast and would benefit from it for sure.
Yeah. It's a huge part of why Bill and I are podcasting, is to be in service to others, contribute to others, and then clearly, utilize and leverage our experiences, our breakdowns, our tools and exercises and all of those things to assist others in having an amazing life experience. So we really appreciate you thinking about us.
Cool. So magic today, we talk about magic often,
Yes.
and I would say that we are 100% consistent on sharing what magic is happening in our lives. And we do that because, the more of the greatness that you focus on that happens in your life and how you influence it is a direct reflection of how much more you're going to have, right?
Yes.
So, if you look for that yellow car, you're going to find a lot more yellow cars. If you're looking for butterflies, you're going to see a lot of butterflies, right? And so if you're looking for the stuff in your life that is helping to make your life amazing and great and powerful, and you've been able to attracted or influenced in some way, that's magic. And so sharing magic today, Nance, what do you, how have you influenced self, others, or life in an empowering way?
So, well, this falls under others, and Lucas and I decided to have a sleepover together.
Oh.
So it was our first ever sleepover, and we.
So you slept over in your own house? Okay.
But I slept on the cot for a little bit.
Oh, like in his room?
Yeah, in his room, and then we watched a bunch of TV. And he got out the sleeping bag for me, and I slept in the cot. And then I kind of guilted him into giving me his bed,
That's
so
funny.
he could sleep in the cot. But then we gamed, and we were having so much fun that his older brother came in, and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Come on in, we're gaming." And he's like, "Okay." So the three of us hung out for a long time, and it was really beautiful. And we had sparkling water, and well, we stayed up pretty late, but not as late as he probably wanted to stay up, but that's cool. It was so beautiful and wonderful, and sleeping in his bed and waking up and just hearing him sleep. It's very cute, and I appreciate spending all that time with him. So that is my magic.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Cool.
Yes. What's your magic, babe?
I've got a bunch of magic going on these days. I mean, we've had some closings and listings coming on, and my coaching clients have been amazing, and really making the connections between life and their lives and their work, and it's all that's beautiful. And then at the end of the day, what I'm inspired about is the the book that you and I started reading together, The 7 Spiritual Habits of, what is that? Married couples? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, for a good marriage. And I think we crossed out good and put great.
Great. Yeah. So really, we had a great date night last week, and hung out, grabbed some food, and hung outside on some lawn chairs, and we read the book together, and just it was a lot of fun. So I appreciate a lot of what that book had to say really resonated too. So I appreciated that as well as it pertains to our marriage. So it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
you're
that's
welcome.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Woo.
Yes. So the podcast today
Yes.
is this is part 2.
Yes, it is a part 2. Yes, absolutely. So part 1 was how to create and stick to a fluctuating or seasonal budget. And so, of course, that's the personal side of things. And so this part 2 is all around the business side of things. So creating a business budget. And, we talked a little bit before hopping on the mic about how my intention for this is to make it fun. Just make it fun, because, budgeting and money and numbers can be such a triggering conversation for so many people. And with obviously being 100% commission based, some days or some months are windfalls, and then sometimes you may not have a closing for a month or two, or, there's a lot of agents that experience that, and I feel for them, because that used to be us. And so my intention was to make this fun, because as we get into the different levels here of how we segmented it out, it could get a little dry. Yeah, dry, analytical, a little want, a little. I mean, it could, and I'm a numbers person, and I love this now. And what I definitely remember about this process is that I was scared to look at money, and the envelope stayed closed, and there was no budgeting for business whatsoever. Everything was commingled. Everything was like, woohoo! We get the commission check, and then we're off to the races, spending it all. And there were like zero habits, zero maturity around commission checks.
Clicquot kind of night.
Yes, exactly. And I know that y'all know somebody out there that can relate to what I'm talking about.
Well, here's the thing.
So,
and I feel like I say that phrase a lot on the podcast. Here's the thing.
You do. It's cool. It's your thing.
It's my thing. Is that, well, now I kind of lost it. Hang on.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start. Well, it's not that you got to start somewhere. I already lost it. Oh my gosh, Nance.
Okay, well, we'll come.
Hang on.
Okay.
Fill the void. Can you do a little song and a little dance?
You're watching me dance more than you are.
Yeah. So the thing is that the sales, we get into real estate and we think we're a bunch of salespeople,
Mm,
and we don't necessarily treat it as a business.
sure.
And so, the the purpose of this is to help you think about your business as a business, and just not, you're just not in sales to collect a check and go to. I mean, you can, and that mentality certainly exists and it has its place. Yet, if you're tuned into this podcast and you're hanging out with us, my feeling is that you do want to treat your real estate business like a business, so that you can have it all.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise, I mean, if you're in sales, it's great, and you're still at the whim of others.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're running this real estate business, like a business, then you're at the whim of your own decisions. And so your decisions are obviously very important, and how you structure your business is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's what I got.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is it's based on principles, and it's based on structure, and math is a principle. Budgeting is a principle. And so it's and we talk about 7 habits of highly effective people. Obviously, all of those are principally based living, as is Dave Ramsey and the baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge part of how we run our business, how we run our personal life. And because it's all connected. Because once we organize and structure and coordinate our accounts and our money, as we say with everything, what you focus on expands. What you inspect, you can expect, and that definitely holds true with money. So these 2 episodes for sure are all around increasing your maturity around money, increasing your financial piece, and what's going to come as a byproduct of that is your emotional piece.
Yes,
because you're no longer going to be at the whim of the commission check.
Yeah.
You're going to be driving it and very intentional about it. So
we said it in part 1, and we'll say it in part 2, is to
look money in the eyes.
That's it.
I got you, boo. I
don't know what is going on in my brain right now.
Well, it's okay, because it's like right over here.
Okay,
and,
thank you.
You can have it back.
Yes, to look money in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. And what I think is really cool about this breakdown today is you can really figure out where you're at by listening to us talk about the 3 different levels that you can be at with your business and your business financing.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I just say, so you're either beginner, intermediate, or pro.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, this is based on our experience, our coaching clients, our clients. I mean, financial conversations happen in the car all the time. Clearly, they happen at the listing table. So there's a very real life experience that coalesced into these 3 categories. So we're going to go through them, and we would love your comments, and just where are you in this process. And of course, we're going to let you know we're in the process. And by the way, we were in every one of these categories.
Absolutely.
At one point, for sure.
And the thing is that if you're looking money in the eye and you're at an intermediate, or a pro level, do you think you're actually going to get more business or less business if you handle your money in a better way?
More. Well, and that's the spiritual side of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is as you're responsible with your money, then more money, more prosperity, more opportunities flow to you. Mm-hmm. So everybody has to start at beginner. And as you move on and graduate from beginner, and you show and demonstrate that you have the responsibility and the maturity to create money, right? Manifest it, create it, conserve it or save it or manage it, and then multiply it or compound it.
Yeah.
So and again, that's the principle side of things, is that it's not personal. It is principle, and everyone goes through these things.
Cool. Why don't you kick us off with a beginner level business budgeting conversation.
Yeah. So this is classic. Your commission check, you get the commission check and it immediately goes into your personal account. So there's no LLC, there's no incorporate, there's no S corp, there's no nothing. The commission check goes into, so Bill Jamison gets a paycheck a commission check, and it goes into Bill Jamison's personal account. So, and it goes right
And you're
there.
treating it like a paycheck.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And right. So never mind taxes, never mind, household expenses, never mind anything. It's all commingled.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of agents put their money there into their personal account.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And so, again, I mean, just to be real talk here, like that's what broke people do, is they will put their commission check into their personal bank account. The bigger the check, the more you start spending. Like it happens. And you hear folks say something like, well, I worked hard for this money. I deserve this money. So I'm going to overindulge because, this has been a long time coming. So, I'm compensating for da. And then what ends up happening is you owe taxes. I mean, part of that is the responsibility of paying taxes.
Yeah, and we felt that, the tax man has come a knocking.
Oh my gosh. It is heart-wrenching to get that bill.
Yeah, that letter in the mail, yeah.
I definitely remember a $24,000 tax bill. I feel like I even remember a $44,000
Yeah, we had
tax
absolutely.
bill, actually. And it was just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I feel like we had to refinance the house to pay that.
It was one of the reasons. It was one of many. I mean, there was other reasons why we refinanced the house, and that was a contributing factor.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So very scary, very scary. And of course, you're certainly not.
Do you remember that time back in the day when I first got in the business and you were still in the restaurant business, and I had the closing? Then I went out and bought us 2 phones.
Yes.
Maybe dating ourselves a little bit here, but they were Nokias and they were fantastic.
Yeah, they were like the best thing. Yeah, that was. It was like 18 years ago.
Anyway, I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I mean, we've done it.
And I'm sure I put the money, the commission check right in our first. I know I did because I wasn't thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
And right in our personal account, the funds were commingled and it ended up being, it was a habit. It ended up being a habit.
Right. And what happened is we had a lot of great stuff, but we also had a lot of debt, a lot of debt. And clearly, Uncle Sam was like, hi, where's my money?
So what we're saying here is, as a beginner, your opportunity is to, to incorporate or become an LLC, check with your accountant and see what's going to be best for you based on where you live and, what structure is going to work best for what your goals are.
Yes.
We are not financial advisors or accountants or whatever. So, we're going to put the suggestions out there and then we're going to leave it to you to consult with other professionals that know more than we do to set up what the structure that's going to be best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And the great thing about that is that you're networking. So now you're networking with financial advisors and you're networking with accountants who also know a lot of people.
Right, great point.
So you can utilize that relationship to catapult your referral-based business as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a great opportunity. So not only are you getting your ducks in a row, I mean, it's a huge win-win because the win for them is that, they have more business through you and then you can cross-reference business back and forth.
Right.
It's a great scenario. So that's beginner.
Yep. So again, the opportunity is to incorporate or become an LLC.
Yep.
And open up those separate bank accounts so that the commission checks can go into the business account.
Yeah. So a business operating and a business savings account will go along with your business structure.
So if you start doing all that, your trajectory is going right into that intermediate or advanced level of your business.
Yeah, because your commission checks now go into your business account. So our business account, our company is Jamison and Company. And so when we get a check, the check goes into a commission check. The commission check goes into Jamison and Company. Now we have it set up to where our office pays Jamison and Company. It's not even Bill or Nancy Jamison. It pays it directly to Jamison and Company. So it goes into the Jamison and Company operating account. And so here there's 3 basic divisions for this check. Okay, so if you imagine a $10,000 check, there's 3 accounts that you're going to put this money into. You have your tax account,
Right.
you have your business expense or your operating account,
Right.
and then you have the personal account. So essentially, right off the bat, 30%, this is what we recommend. Now, again, y'all check your respective state and tax laws and things like that, and you just check your stuff out. But we're going to use our examples. So we use 30% into our tax account, and then we put 30% into our business account to cover all of the business expenses: lead generating, marketing, salaries, admin, mail, office expenses, all of those things that are in and associated with the business budget. And then, so that's 60%, and then the 40% goes into our personal account.
Yep.
Okay. And so again, $10,000 check, you have $3,000 into your tax account, boom. And these are separate accounts. $3,000, boom, into your operating account, and then you go $4,000 in your home budget. Okay. And if you need to, again, reflect back on part 1 of this with their irregular fluctuating seasonal budget, then go see that episode. All right. So that's that.
And so again, these percentages are gonna be pretty accurate wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
And to not do these things once, if your goal is to run your business like a business, and to not break these down immediately and do this, or say I'm just gonna use this one commission check to go have a good time, and I'll do it on the next one, and not to have these consistent practices time in and time out, is there's a word for it. It's denial.
Yeah.
And so
low maturity. Those are 2 more words.
Yeah, low maturity for sure.
And we kind of poke fun at it, and obviously I think y'all know by now this is our sense of humor, and we're very direct and as a matter of fact with it, because we've been there and we've experienced those gut-wrenching experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes people just got to learn through their own experience, and we're just no BS about it. So this is why we're just like, look, just stand on the shoulders of giants and surrender the process.
Yep.
Trust it, because this is going to work.
And if you're having a hard time surrendering to the process, or your maturity is very low around this, yet it's something that you need to do to take a stand for yourself and your business, then find somebody to hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're happy to hold you accountable.
Yeah, call us. We'll hold you accountable to
Absolutely.
it. For sure. Cool. What else on that, Nance? Anything?
So I guess, the opportunity for intermediate and advanced intermediate to advanced in this setting around business budgeting is to have your 3 accounts set up. So you've got your LLC, you have your business account, and you have your savings account. So you have a tax account included, and then obviously your personal account is set up. Mm-hmm. So you've just added a tax account. So you have your tax account, you have your business operating account, you have your business savings account, even though there's 0 in it right now, it's still there.
Right.
And then you have your personal account. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
So how many accounts is that?
Well, it's 4 at this
4
point.
4 accounts. Okay, good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
so then
yes.
Here's an example of what, if you have, go ahead, baby.
Well, we're in the pro section. We went through the example.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So pro, I was in pro, but I did not announce it. So the pro level, so you've been at intermediate, advanced, you got those things in place where you're taking care of your percentages. The pro level, so let's say you have a $10,000 commission check, mm-hmm. right? $3,000 goes into your tax account, and part of that tax account is actually you're now paying quarterlies, mm-hmm. right? You're paying your estimated taxes ahead of time, and not taking the hit at the end of the year or taking penalties. $3,000 is going into a business account,
or 30%, right? So the
30%.
percentages, the
percentages are the
same. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So again, marketing costs should be no more than 10% of your expected gross revenue. And then you'll also have money left for, virtual assistants or an assistant, office fees, and all that kind of stuff that can come out of that. And then you have $4,000 of your personal operating account, which is your budget or your financial hub.
Yep. And so this is where it gets cool.
Right. So go ahead and talk about the cool part.
Because your personal account now gets broken down into several other accounts. Okay. So your personal account is now the financial hub. So that's what we call our operating account, personal operating account. So we personally call our operating account J.A.M because we J.A.M.
Right. Or we the Jamisons.
We the Jamisons. Right. So we have our personal account, our personal operating account, which is home to home expenses, anything mortgage or rent related, utilities, groceries, paying off debt, that kind of stuff. So that's 50% of the 4,000. Okay, so that would be 2,000. Then we have another account that is for savings, which is 10%. And so savings is, your savings. And so our goal was to save 6 months worth of expenses because we're obviously 1099s. Well, we are W-2s, but we're 1099s, we're self-employed. And so in the event of a pandemic, we would have 6 months worth of savings. So again, so that's the second account. This is the second personal account. 10% goes into savings. Third personal account is give, and that's 10% also. So we give tithing, charity. We give without having it paid back. Some friends of ours just lost their dad, and so we gifted them some money to assist with funeral costs, and that was our gift to them. And so that came out of the give account. So that's the third account, 10% for give. Fourth account, 10% for vacations. Ooh, where are we going to this year, baby?
Right.
That's where that goes. So of that 4,000, 10% or $400 goes into vacations. Okay, you guys tracking with me? Fifth account, this is the financial freedom account. This is where, you make the call, 10 to 15%. It may be 20% for some of us. These are our percentages. 10 to 15% goes into the financial freedom account of that $4,000. So that's investments. That's the real estate flip. That's the college fund. Those are the long-term savings. But nevertheless, it creates the financial freedom that we're looking for. And then last but not least is cash.
Yeah, the slush fund.
Yeah, this is the slush fund. So this is 5%. So 5% of that $4,000, which is $200, goes into the splurge. It's for fun. So there's no questions asked. There's money associated with splurging and having fun, and it is what it is. And so why we allow ourselves to do that is so we don't go crazy, because this is a lot of math, and these are a lot of accounts, and this is a lot of savings, and it's a lot of discipline. And so you got to have some fun and splurge and just F off money, really.
Yeah. Have that extra, and in this case, the $200 of the 4,000 to mindlessly do what you want to do with it, honestly.
Whatever it is.
And that's part. I mean, if you can be so disciplined on one side of things, you get to be so undisciplined with the other side. That's the balance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so one of the things that we started doing when we first started utilizing these percentages, Bill and I would actually split this. This is before kids. We would split this money, and in the beginning, it was like $20. And we would each take our $10, and we would do whatever we wanted to, and there was no questions asked, no nothing, and it was oh my gosh, and there was this huge celebration of the thing that we just splurged on. So I do just want to reiterate what these accounts are in case you guys are writing this down, which I know that you are, because you want to be pros at your money. So the $4,000 that was represented towards the personal account, 50% goes into operating account, number one, right? Number two, 10% goes into your savings account. Number three, 10% goes into your give account. Number four, 10% goes into your vacations account. Number five, Yes, 5 bank accounts, 10%, 10 to 15% goes into your financial freedom account. And then the last account can be a jar in your room, or you just hand each other cash, or it can go straight in your wallet. It does not need to be account. It's cash. Okay? So that's pro level right there. Pro level. How do you feel about all that?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I feel great about it. I mean, I am blessed to be married to a woman that loves numbers. It's like part of your heart and soul are the numbers. And I appreciate that about you. And, and we have worked on this stuff together.
Yeah.
And yet at the end of the day, your passion for it has definitely helped drive it forward. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And
Well, and it wasn't always like that.
no.
And
then the other part of it is that what I like about all this is it has created a lifestyle for us that, one that we always kind of dreamed about. I mean, and I'm not saying like, we're way out there on,
right.
whatever, but yet, it's no longer that daily grind around money as far as,
any of it.
Yeah.
Like worrying about groceries or the bills or the car payments or the kids and their education.
Because we budget for it, and when things come, and when things do come up, it's not there's not panic there. It's like, okay, well, how do we adjust our budget to meet our needs? Because things come up that aren't in our budget.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet, because we have an operating budget and we know how things work inside of our budget, we know that we can adjust or flow or whatever and make some things that are unexpected work for us.
And not so heart-wrenching.
Right. Exactly.
Because we do have an emergency fund in place that was disciplined, or we do have these things set aside and allocated appropriately. So, in other words, this method has allowed us to feel fully empowered by our money choices and making decisions overall on how to spend and save money.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what creates that emotional and financial piece that we have. And then clearly we're teaching all of that to the boys. We teach this method to the coaching clients. We've taught many people. Like I'm going through it right now with my accountability circle. So, that I lead. And it's a very empowering way to live, to go.
Yeah.
So.
And then, lastly, it's allowed us to work on other real estate investments. Right? I mean, we haven't had to, we have this flip that we've talked about that we're doing right now, and it's all through Jamison and Company. We haven't had to do, dip into personal savings to
not at all
make this happen, so no commingling funds there, even with the investment piece. So
right.
It's pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. And then, on the business side of things, and I believe that this wraps around to your point full circle in the beginning, that as a result of us being responsible and managing the money that we have and being mature with it and multiplying it, it's resulted in richer vendor partner relationships.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So that when we reach out to them, like they understand that we have an 87% referral rate for our real estate company. And so when we reach out to them and say, hey, we want to market to our peeps, they're like, heck yeah, let's go, because they see it.
Yeah, they see the responsibility, they see the maturity, they see that we're having fun, there's joy.
Well, and in addition to all of that, we outlay it for them. We're like, look, this is what our contribution is. Here's the budget. Here's where you come in. This is what we need. This is what we're given. This is what's going to happen. This is your ROI. And it's all as a result of these practices. We started with the personal budget, and then it went out
that's great.
To there. So, and then the second thing that comes to mind about the business side of things is that it really does allow us to say no to those bright and shiny and oh so ever enticing shiny objects.
They come up all the time, don't they?
Do. We had one this morning come up. Stacy brought it. It was like, hey, what about this? And I'm like, nope, our budget has been allocated for 2021. Yeah. Come see us next year.
I mean, are you sure? Are you sure that we don't need our faces on the front of every shopping cart at the Kroger?
It is enticing to have a baby butt on our on the shopping cart thing.
That's funny.
Or on the front of the cart going,
right.
Or on the park bench.
The park bench, yeah.
You got one the other day that was for like golf carts or something.
No,
right?
It was for the back of golf scorecards.
Oh, you see? I mean,
it would have contributed to our logo would have been on 35,000 rounds of golf.
yeah.
35,000.
I don't know. I just have like contributing to litter or something. Like just I'm gonna use this as a
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyway, when you have a budget and you know what you're spending your money on, and you've allocated certain amounts for certain things, then you're not nearly as enticed to chase the shiny object.
Right. And you keep your one thing, and you're confident, and your standards are high, and you know who you're going to do business with and who's going to do business with you, and it just expands from there.
Yep.
It's fantastic. And you attract higher quality clients.
Yes, you do. When you have maturity around this stuff, and you're having elevated conversations, you will actually. What's funny is that you will have more elevated conversations than your clients generally, and even if they are like doing great or buying the big house or whatever, and and they'll come to you to have a conversation around what you're doing, because you practice what you preach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's principle. It's not personal.
Right.
It's really. It trickles out in so many things. So it may be big, bad, and scary, and it may take a couple hours to set all of this in motion, or sit down and actually, write to this. And then for sure, it's going to take a whole nother set of skills to stick to it, and a whole nother set of skills to practice transferring the money from account to account, and, meet with yourself on a weekly basis. That's how we did it. I met, it's Financial Friday. So let's meet on a weekly basis and set these things up and make these transfers happen, and so on and so on and so on. And it definitely takes time and discipline, and I will share with you, it is all worth it, because you're worth it, and your partner's worth it, and your business is worth it, and your kids are worth it, and your clients are worth it, and it's extraordinary. So, boom.
Boom. Drop the mic.
Mic drop.
Yep. Cool. Well, thanks for all of that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add?
No. I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate what we're doing, and I love all you guys too. So y'all go have an amazing day.
Peace goes out.
Yes.
If you got questions about these percentages or how we do it, please reach out. You can Google us and find a phone number. You can Google us and find our email, Insta, Facebook.
Yep.
And we're here for you for sure.
Awesome.
All
cool.
Right.
Well, bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. If you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow our show. I'm Nancy Jamison.
And I'm Bill Jamison.
And remember, it's a great life.
Woo!
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.